3, 2, 1.
As is tradition, or more so, forceful pactment against me, I must start this episode. And in continual ways, I hate myself because of this. I decided to go to Costco today, and going on a weekend is possibly the worst idea.
Yeah.
First of all, I had to park like almost in another postal code.
You got a parking spot?
Yeah, we only had to fight like 4 or 5 people, so it wasn't as bad as I expected. But we got the absolute last shopping cart on the way in. Like, you know those huge racks?
Yeah, those big bays.
We got the only one. I was like, that was like red flag number 1.
Was it like 3 wheels and it was just missing a side?
It was looking a little rough, but you know, beggars can't be choosers at that point. And someone tried to butt us to get that cart, so I was like, that's not happening.
Which was this, the Kitchener or the water?
Yeah, the Kitchener.
Oh, you went the Kitchener location? That's your first problem.
And the thing is, people are way more down to just scrap.
Yeah, it's because that's where all the locals are.
Yeah.
You gotta fight with locals.
Yeah.
See, this is why I drive out to Guelph.
Oh, you know what? I wasn't pushing the cart, and I'm way less forgiveful when people just, you know, stop in front of you. So I'm willing to just give people a little bit of a love tap. But it was chaos. Like, that's what you do to torture yourself. Go to Costco on the weekend. And I think I bought like 3 things, and it was over $100. I was like, what the hell is this?
You probably have to wait so long to check out.
Actually, that wasn't bad. I think people were just eating a bunch of samples and getting meat tubes.
Me too.
Meat tube?
Hot dogs. $1.50 hot dogs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I was so ready to fight you for slandering the good name of Costco, but you went to the Kitchener location on a weekend at a busy time. You're right, that's the 7th circle of hell.
Yeah, it was brutal, and like I said, I bought like 3 things I kind of didn't even really need, and it was over $100, and then the line for the meat tubes is too long.
Yeah, the difference between the 2 Costco locations I'm referring to, the Kitchener one, people will try to literally fight you for the last cart. The one that I go to, I've seen people turn signal with their hands as they turn into a busy aisle with their cart so they don't hit anyone.
Yeah, it's far more civilized than the Waterloo location.
Very cultural.
Far more. So that's been my day. That's literally all I've done.
Right.
Actually, the circle down from Costco in hell is trying to figure out which light bulb is out in your Christmas tree. I spent more hours of the day doing that today than I was at Costco.
Oh man, that dates you, because I don't think modern lights have that issue.
No, this is a brand new tree. I just bought it, and a bunch of lights weren't working, and for some reason it's like if light A goes out, lights B, C, D, E, and F don't work. But if light B goes out, A could still work. It's like a series.
They're in series, yeah, they're in series. It's been a while since I've done grade 9 physics.
So yeah, that was another great thing. So
I'm gonna have some angry takes about whatever we talk about today.
Yeah,
he's just cute.
I'm just kind of defeated at this point. You know, I survived Costco. The tree is not fixed.
See, the problem is I'd have so many Red Wings jokes lined up for this, but they've been winning, so I can't use them.
Yeah, the Red Wings aren't on theme for the Red Wings right now. It's
we are the
upsetting.
anti-Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah.
They are literally the hottest team in the NHL right now, save for maybe Buffalo. Wow, that's a statement I was not expecting to make at any point this season.
This decade, yeah. Just one more thing to stay off topic. Evan, does your defeatedness explain your homeless look right now?
Yeah, when
cultured homeless.
As soon as I leave, I'm shaving my face because it's at that, you know, when you the first level of itch and you're like, God, this sucks.
And then it goes.
And then it leaves, and then it comes back on the second level, and you're like, this was way worse than the first. I'm at level 2 right now, and I need to go home and shave after
that little 2-day window where you're like, maybe I'm past it. Now I can grow a beard, and then a day later you're like, oh God, no, I got it.
Yeah, right, Brad.
Yes.
Welcome to the Winged Wheel Podcast. You want us to say our names more, so I'm Ryan Hanna.
I'm Brad Crisco.
I am Evan.
That's Evan. Real Evan, not the soundboard Evan.
Yeah,
that you sometimes use.
That is true.
Today on the docket, funny enough, there has been everything and nothing happening. We have a lot of Red Wings talk because there's only been 2 games, but it feels like 10 games worth of excitement. And then we're just going to do a few takes around the league. Edmonton continues to Edmonton. Buffalo continues to not Buffalo. Some minor news with Coach Q and a concussion lawsuit, and then we'll just see where this journey takes us. Oh, one more thing off topic. And I promise we'll keep it short because I know we've started off like 4 minutes here without hockey. I'm a huge Harry Potter nerd. Like, I loved it. I grew up with it. That was that was the series that raised me. If you had to pick one thing, the new Fantastic Beasts series, the first movie wasn't good. And if you think it was, you're wrong. The second movie is like Star Wars prequels level bad. So if you're on the fence, save your money. If you're like me and you had to go even though you weren't expecting a lot, expect it even worse.
It's Eddie Redmayne, right?
Yeah, the actors are fine. Eddie Redmayne was fine. Even Johnny Depp, who I didn't like in that role, I thought he was great in it.
Must be running out of money again.
Jude Law was great as Hot Dumbledore.
What? Jude Law's in it too?
Yeah, he's Hot Dumbledore.
What?
Yeah.
How? Yeah, that's how the script writing and the producing must be that bad.
Oh god, they don't understand what exposition is, and when it's there, they punch you in the throat with it.
If that cast can't make a movie good,
no, yeah,
there's something else wrong.
It's god awful. You know, it's not god awful. Somehow, the Detroit Red Wings, they did it again. Okay, here's the thing: if I watch games, the team loses. They lost to Senators. I have not caught a lot of the recent games. Been very busy with things that are very busy and important. I.e., I just haven't been able to catch a lot of the games recently. Watched the Senators game, lost. Didn't watch most of the Devils game. I watched when they went down 2-0, and then I had to stop watching, and then they won. So everyone, depending on your preference for the tank, just tweet at me and let me know what you want me to do for that given game.
You maybe just start a poll.
Yeah, just a running.
The numbers won't lie.
Let's talk about the Devils game. I feel like that's where the money is.
The fourth time in the last 6 games, the Red Wings came back from a 2-goal deficit to win. Actually, I think the broadcast was talking about the streak they had before that 3 games in a row where they came back from 2 goals down to win. They've never done that in franchise history before.
In franchise history?
In franchise history.
Wow.
The Detroit Red Wings have never done that. So, hey, we've got some history on our side. And apparently Michael Rasmussen is one of 6 Red Wings teenagers to score in 3 straight games. So, also cool. And when the list of players you would have expected to do that is exactly who you think. Larkin, Lindsay, Yzerman, etc. So once again, the win against New Jersey was the exact type of win Detroit's had on this little 8-2 run, where the goals came from or set up by all the young guys. First goal, Glendening scores, but that goal was all Cholowski setting him up, although it was a hell of a shot by Glendening.
Which he does do sometimes.
He has no capability of creating a scoring chance for himself unless it's like a partial breakaway or something like that. But the dude can finish.
Dude can rip him, yeah.
Dude can shoot. He just, like I said, there's guys who can create chances and there's guys who can finish chances. Glendening falls very hard into one of those categories. The second goal, green point shot, Michael Rasmussen doing what Michael Rasmussen does, tips it in. And then the overtime goal, Anthony Mantha with a beautiful feed to Dylan Larkin. So again, the win came largely on the backs
that was
of the young
great
guys.
setup by Mantha. That was the head fake. Like he did a really good
It wasn't
job.
just the head fake, because a head fake will only fool so many goalies. It's that he showed where he was controlling the puck in front of his body, showed pass the whole way, then at the last minute, cocked it over for a shot. And it's one thing to fool the goalie on that, but the key to that play was when he cocked it for the shot, you seen the defenseman change the angle of where his stick was, and then he put the pass over to Larkin right where the defenseman's stick was. It's one of those little subtle things in the game of hockey that on first glance you wouldn't pick up, but as you watch the replay you go, wow, he just completely fooled two players by moving the puck 3 feet momentarily.
Should we talk about the fact that Jimmy Howard's posting a 922 right now?
I think we talked about it Wednesday, and yeah, so
He's
conveniently this is a talking point after we're talking about whether or not he should be extended.
I mean, I think everyone's in agreement that he should be extended. I don't think he should be extended at $5.3 million.
Here's the problem: 922 gets you 5.3. There's no way around that. That's the way. If the Red Wings don't give him 5.3, someone will.
Yeah, that's great. He for sure he deserves it.
And there's an argument to be had there whether or not Detroit should give him the 5.3 for sure. But then the argument becomes: should the Red Wings extend him at 3 or 5? Well, no. It's do the Red Wings keep him? That's where the argument turns into. Because if he does this all year, you think a team like the New York Islanders or maybe even the Columbus Blue Jackets without Sergei Bobrovsky next year will look at this and go, yeah, we need this more than you guys do. We'll give him the 5.5 or whatever it might be. So,
you think the team wants to lock him down early because he might have trade value?
If they're going to trade him, it won't be with a contract extension, because then at that point they're going to keep the evil they know, because it's not a strong market for goalies this year. Sergei Bobrovsky is going to get massively overpaid somewhere, and there's nobody else better than Jimmy to sign. So we're going to talk about Buffalo in a bit, but this is the argument that you're going to have to make. How quickly do you think Detroit can turn this around? Because if you think they can do it next year or the year after, then you have to firmly be in the camp of extend Jimmy at whatever the cost. If you're like, no, this is a 3 to 5 year rebuild, then you don't particularly care what we do with Howard.
It is 1,000% the latter, but for the sake of radio, we'll talk
Is it
about
though?
Yes.
I fall into the I believe that's the more likely outcome. Counterpoint, the Buffalo Sabres
have been in a rebuild for 14 million years.
First year they get a goalie and they're good.
The Buffalo Sabres are on a 15 million year rebuild. They just got a million years longer.
I think they've been rebuilding since Brett Hall scored.
They've been rebuilding since Dominic Hasek played. They've been rebuilding since they've been just rebuilding forever.
Okay, hypothetical question here for you. I know that they have botched this rebuild for a while, although they have been making the right moves the last couple of years now. Not this past summer, but the summer before. Are the Buffalo Sabres further ahead there than the Detroit Red Wings are now?
Man, that is so far gone ago, I don't remember it all.
Basically where they are now, but they essentially didn't have Dahlin, they didn't have Carter Hutton.
Yeah.
Casey Middlestat was a large unknown at that point.
I think they are.
You think they're further ahead than Detroit is now?
Yeah, you look at their decor, like the young guys they have coming up, they have Jack Eichel, like that alone.
They had Eichel.
They have Josh Georges at that point.
They still do.
They do? What?
At that last summer, they basically had Ristolainen already established.
Yeah.
They had Middlestat, who looked like he could be a player, but was still a large unknown. He was the player who went right before Rasmussen. They didn't know they were getting Rasmus Dahlin. They had just traded for Marco Scandella. They had unloaded Marcus Foligno and Tyler Ennis. Sam Reinhart was struggling, but they did have Jack Eichel.
You just look at the composition of the team
and you look
the age and the contracts they were dealing with. Yeah, absolutely they were ahead.
I would argue Detroit's further ahead now.
Because Buffalo... I'm certain you would argue that, but...
They look at their prospect system. They didn't have a Philip Zadina. They didn't have a Joe Veleno. They didn't have a Jonathan Bergeron, a McIsaac, a Cholowski.
Right, but they
also didn't have a Jimmy
still
Howard.
A lot of
to be fair, they had
a
Robin Leonard.
Yeah, like what Evan said. Like I think Veleno is the most the rookie or the prospect that I'm most confident turning into a very strong contributing player, borderline star for Detroit. More so than I'm confident in Zadina panning out being the superstar that he should be. But like McIsaac's definitely not a certainty. Cholowski has only played however many games. He's looking great, mind you, but like he's like there's still a lot of volatility in Detroit. Like,
but the argument was there was even more volatility in Buffalo because they didn't have.
Yeah, I mean
prospects are never guaranteed to pan out. I agree with that. Buffalo had a lot less in their cupboard last summer than Detroit does now. A lot less in the cupboard. They got lucky with the draft lottery. Can't deny that. Rasmus Dahlin makes a massive difference. Middlestat's not even really playing up to his potential this year. That's almost the most impressive part about the fact that they've turned this around.
Who is it on Twitter that hates Middlestat? Is it Manny?
I don't know.
Someone just like they love ripping on. Anyways, keep going.
But yeah, so they didn't have a lot. Sam Reinhart has finally turned it around. And he's now looking like the player we thought, which I don't know who the equivalent on Detroit could be. Maybe that is Mantha. He figures it out in a year or two. But yeah, I don't think the similarities between Buffalo last summer and Detroit this summer are that far off. And right now, Buffalo, they look legit. I mean, Carter Hutton's playing out of his mind, but so is Jimmy. So
for Buffalo to get where they are now, they needed top two talents in the draft.
They got one of them, Dahlin.
Jack Eichel.
Oh, you're going that far back? Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Because that's how far back their rebuild extends. But Buffalo's rebuild has been so long that there was a timeline where we were saying Buffalo's the prototypical team that needs to rebuild. Fast forward a few years. Buffalo is the prototypical restocking and doing a patient rebuild. This is exactly how you do it. Tim Murray stocking all those picks. Fast forward a few years. Buffalo is the prototypical argument against full tear-down rebuilds. Fast forward a few years. Now we're having this argument. But like they've been doing this for a while, and just because they like stutter-stepped and went up and down a little bit, and
there's been no up until this year.
Well, and you mentioned before we started recording that like they did a lot of things that we all assumed to be right, and like stand by the fact that at the time they did all the right things, but it just didn't pan out. That's the luck of the draw with a full teardown.
They were the argument for going too far on the teardown.
Yeah, they demonstrated the risk, like the risk reward. They got none of the reward and took all the risk for the first like 4 or 5 years of that. But that's how long Buffalo's been rebuilding. So like, I don't necessarily like drawing the equivalency from them to Detroit because you have remnants from those different phases. Like if you cut open a tree and count the rings, that's equivalent to like how like you can use Buffalo's rebuild to carbon date certain things at this point. Like if you cut open one of McIsaac's bones and you look in there, you can actually see when like Jack Eichel was drafted and you can see when Tim Murray was hired because it's a whole thing. That joke wasn't as fleshed out as I needed it to be, but
you found your way as you went.
Yeah, I appreciate that, guys.
But my whole Buffalo argument kind of does relate to you touching on how just catastrophically bad they were for so long. Is it doesn't take long to turn it around if just one or two things go your way. Fundamentally, there's nothing different on the Sabres this year other than they finally found their goalie. And they got lucky in the draft. So again, I'm not saying that's going to happen for Detroit, but my argument is they are, despite the hot streak, points percentage-wise, I still think like dead last in the East because every team behind them can pass them with games in hand.
I'm going to interrupt in a second.
They're still a strong candidate, if not one of the top 5 favorites to get Jack Hughes, which, hey, there's their Jack Eichel, if not better. Then they're only looking at one piece. What's the one piece? Well, we know that's the number 1 defenseman. Where are they going to find that? I don't know. Again, it takes luck. Maybe Erik Karlsson does end up coming here. I don't know.
I'm going to dial it
But
back.
I'm just saying, it only takes 1 or 2 pieces to turn a team from a bad team to, hey, we're actually in a divisional seed right now.
I'm going to dial it back to when you said, fundamentally, not much has changed on Buffalo besides
no, it's
goalie,
2 huge pieces.
And they got lucky. Yeah, because that's a huge... You got the best defenseman to come out of the draft in multiple generations. And the goalie thing, you're right, because Carter Hutton's only posting like a 919. So like he's decidedly.
But keep in mind,
sufficient.
Robin Leonard was posting like an 895. So
yeah.
it's a massive improvement.
But Deline, despite the fact that a lot of people might not be seeing his name flash across the screen a lot, has been an overwhelming success because he came into the league and we all expected, well, the kid's like offensive talent and ability will probably translate well and he'll be able to like make some fun flashy plays, but it'll take him a while to acclimate defensively. No, he's been making like 100 out of 100 correct decisions in his own zone, and he's just been taking some time to like find his tune offensively with his offense.
I think he's in double digits for points now, so he's there. He's getting there.
It might not be flashy because defensemen aren't really like Jack Eichel, Connor McDavid, like Austin Matthews flashy in their first year, but like he changed that franchise.
So circling back to the greater point, because this all started from the Jimmy Howard conversation. If you're Red Wings management, when do you make the decision on Jimmy Howard? Because if your team tank and you think it's 3 to 5 years, you have to wait because you're probably letting him walk. But then what if June rolls around, the lottery balls fall Detroit's way, and all of a sudden, oh my God, we have Jack Hughes. Then the argument should be you absolutely should keep Jimmy Howard because that's the type of player. The Red Wings are 8-2 right now and looking like a competent hockey team.
Do you think this is sustained all season?
No.
But that's it.
It has not. I don't care what the Red Wings' end record is. I honestly don't, because for me right now, it's not that they're winning; it's how they're winning. It's not the veterans like Zetterberg has for the last couple of years propping the team up. This is Larkin. This is Athanasiou. This is Mantha. This is Cholowski. This is why they're winning. And even lately, Rasmussen and Bertuzzi. This is why the Red Wings are winning, and that can't be understated because you now have a young core that has proven they can carry an NHL team for, sure, it's only 10 games, but 10 games.
Now we're getting, sorry.
Not carry a team, but
I thought I was doing that in my head.
But I'm saying, is this sustainable all year? No, but what this tells me is the Red Wings aren't as far off as I previously thought they were. I think that it's not going to be next year. But I think the year after that, we're looking at a team that could very legitimately compete for a playoff spot, maybe make some noise, like Buffalo is right now.
I think that is hopelessly insane. I can understand how you got there, but this is characterized by my I've been hurt before take. Genuinely, like this is the kind of stuff that it intoxicates us as fans, and it has intoxicated. We've seen it intoxicate the management. Like these streaks, because like no one's ever doubted. Well, I mean, a lot of people that aren't Red Wings fans who don't watch these guys will doubt. Like Adam thinks Mantha's garbage.
Yeah, Mantha's had it. Mantha, I think I finally figured out what Anthony Mantha is, which we'll get into later.
It's easy to assume that the team's not successful because they have no talented players, when in reality you're correct. There are a lot of young guys who, a lot of the pieces for that core are there. I think a lot of the top of the pyramid is missing, which is...
That's my point. Like, if they get that top of the pyramid, we're looking at a completely different organization.
Right. But I don't think this success that this 8-2, obviously it's not sustainable, but I don't even think like 6-3-1 pace for over 10 games for the rest of the season is anywhere near attainable for this team. And that's fine. Like, I am thrilled with how well they're doing, and I'm so happy every time they win. Like, don't think that like I want them to lose or we want them to lose to tank. Like, no, the better they do, the better for us. Like, better for fans.
For the exact reason we're talking about right now. If this keeps up all year, then this is a different conversation in June, because it's not maybe this is the core that can carry a team. Then the conversation is this is the core that can carry the team.
But over the course of an 80-game season, I think there need to be two more like seismic shifts in this team.
And that's what I'm saying. I agree. The Red Wings are two very key pieces away. Because again, like we were saying with Buffalo, it's very easy to say, yeah, they just got a franchise defenseman and a #1 goal, and that changed their franchise. Well, no shit.
Yeah.
But look at the Edmonton Oilers. That doesn't mean dick. You get the best player in the world and you're still garbage. You have to have that core. What I'm saying right now is, to me, that core is there. They get lucky with the lottery balls. Maybe, like I said, I'm not saying that they're going to sign Erik Karlsson, because that's like a 2% chance of happening. But maybe they strike gold somewhere else. Maybe they don't get Jack Hughes, but they're picking 7th, because let's say this is somewhat sustainable and they get Bowen Byram or someone like that. Now all of a sudden you're looking at a very, very strong stable of defensemen with potentially two #2 guys between Cholowski and Byram. Again, this sets it back a few more years, whereas Jack Hughes comes in and makes an impact next year. I'm just saying, I think that this is a far more stable core than we're giving them credit for. I think Jimmy Howard is the guy that we need to extend, just on the off chance that there is something there a couple of years from now. And again, hey, don't get me wrong, maybe Jimmy's not even the answer, because Bernier's looked great against New Jersey on Saturday. Like, Detroit got outshot, although whoever was counting the shots in New Jersey was being a little biased, but Bernier had a great game. I think he's won, 3 out of his 4 games now? Who knows? There's still a lot of time, but, I mean, what if it's not a crazy fraction of a % chance of this happening?
I think it is. I think this team is truly 1 or 2 years away before they can start saying we could be 1 or 2 years away. That's like, I don't think that these huge I don't think Buffalo is a good model for the exact reasons that you said.
It's just the most recent model. New Jersey surprised last year. Look at Colorado now. They went from one of the worst seasons in NHL history to the playoffs the next year, and it looks like it's sustained.
It's because they got boned by Patrick Waugh.
Yeah. Hey, a really bad team that had a really bad coach leave and then they got good suddenly. Also a possibility here.
Look at it. McKinnon exploded after Waugh left. Tell me that happened after he left, right? Yeah, it happened after he left.
Yeah, it was after he left.
Not that he was ever bad. Your point would be a lot more potent with a coach who would bring out the best in these young players.
And I still think that Blashill, with his system and the way he coaches his team, is hindering. I think,
100%.
I will argue the Red Wings are winning lately in spite of Blashill, not because of.
Yeah, I thought I was going to have to punch you in the chest there.
No.
Which would suck. For those who are watching on YouTube, I have a hand brace, and that would set me back a long time.
Because the way I still fundamentally disagree with just about every system the Red Wings run at 5-on-5. Like, almost everything they do, it's bad. And you even watch Cholowski, how many times on the breakout he regroups just because he looks up and goes, there's nothing here.
Yeah.
So
that's a gripe of mine with Cholowski, but anyways.
No, I think he would do better and better. I think he has to, because he looks up and he goes, look, my other defense partner's not moving and I've got 3 guys covered. Like...
Yeah. Evan, did I cut you off? You looked inspired for a moment.
It was a fleeting moment.
Yeah, well, as they all are,
Yeah.
as we all are, really. We're just fleeting moments. Unless you spend time with Brad. Brad makes you realize the permanence of the things around you and your inability to escape them.
Ryan, you're bringing all the comedy today.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. The Buffalo Sabres are currently third in the Atlantic.
Fourth in the East.
Fourth in the East. The Atlantic's funny.
Hot Atlantic.
Yeah.
The Atlantic, by all standard metrics right now, are the strongest division in the NHL.
Yeah, they. I think all of their teams are over 500. 500 or better. Yeah. Yeah. Florida 7-7-3, like 500 depending on how you count OT, but like, technically it is 500.
Points percentage wise.
Yeah, Detroit's 9-9-2, Florida's 7-7-3. Those are the two worst teams in the Atlantic.
That's the scary thing. How about Detroit being 8-2? Their start was so bad.
Yeah, it was.
The NHL doesn't make any sense, does it?
No, honestly, this is about where I expected Detroit to be at this point in the season, like pretty close to it. Just
two extremes.
Just nowhere near the path I would have thought they would have taken to get there.
Oh, I was just looked at LA's points, and it reminded me of LA's third jersey. We'll talk about that later. Cowards.
Was it LA or was it Tampa's that we need to talk about?
Did Tampa officially release theirs?
I don't know if it's basically a black sweater.
I don't think that was official. They said like that was like a work in progress.
Oh,
It's
thank
not
God.
done. Unless something new has come out.
I don't know. I really hope that's not it.
Tampa or LA's third jerseys came out. Let's just do this now. We're gonna jump from topic to topic.
We're like Pete Blackburn. Our jersey takes, our opinions are not like moderate. We're strong in our beliefs.
LA has their old jerseys, like they had the yellow and gold color scheme. Either iteration, all yellow with gold accents, or all gold, yellow and purple. Yellow and purple. Sorry, I was saying yellow and gold. All yellow with purple accents, or the inverse, were gorgeous. Some of the best sets in league history, in my mind.
Have I seen this jersey? I feel like I haven't seen this jersey.
I remember the first time I saw it was probably in like NHL 09 or something.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, those are the filthiest
gray
things I've
ones,
ever
right?
Seen.
Oh yeah. Their new ones are the gray ones. It's right here. It's on my screen.
Oh, like the Gretzky era
and like
ones?
they're fine.
Those are they had those.
Okay.
Those look almost exactly like an outdoor jersey they had a couple of years ago.
Wasn't the Atlantic All-Star Team jersey ugly gray and black like that?
Yeah, a little bit.
And everyone was just like boring.
It's like, I get it, like fine, but like your home and aways are white and black. Which I think is cool. I really like that aesthetic. If you're not going to do gold and yellow, fine. Like, do something different. Can you please grow up here and just go back to, like... And how fun would that be? A white and black team, logo, color scheme, everything, like white, black, and gray shirt, whatever, and then, bam, every 8th game, just, like, punch you in the face with color.
I mean, Carolina's even wearing Whalers jerseys for a couple
right?
Of
Like,
years.
Scott Darling's pads are filled.
Oh, those are cool. Yeah.
Come on, Colorado, bring back the Nordiques jerseys, you cowards.
Stop being cowards and just bring back the nicest jerseys. Although Colorado's, like, their Rockies inspired.
They're good, they're nice.
Yeah,
Oh my god. I would buy one if it was in Colorado.
Fans are always like, we want this, and the teams are like, how about this? They're like, why don't you do this? I will give you money. They're like, we're gonna do this LA jersey. Just
Instead,
great.
yeah.
And you're like, God,
Because
please.
There's a growing faction of the Red Wings fan base that's with me on the Barber polls coming back.
There's a growing faction of the Red Wings fan base who will listen to anything you say, which is horrifying to think about. I think Evan has the largest faction out of any of us. Like, if we had to poll people on,
it's
like...
confusing.
It is, and it's not even close. I think you can go... If you had people pick, like, if you had people who are hardcore dub fans, and you said pick your favorite host, you would have a lot of Brads, and then you'd have, like, some people would be like, yeah, I really dig Ryan, and then all the people that might have said us immediately flock to Evan when they realize he's an option, and then 800 other people.
Because I think I know why. Me and you are people. Evan's more a state of mind people can get behind.
Evan's
The less I say, the more people like me.
It's like you and I are like the circles, like one circle on a Venn diagram and another circle on a Venn diagram, because as much as we butt heads, truly a lot crosses over, and Evan is the paper that the Venn diagram...
As
No, I
much as
think I figured
not.
it out. I think people just want to be able to coast through life like Evan coasts through this podcast.
And I'll have you know, Evan's lack of effort does not translate into a lack of results. The dude lives comfortably upper middle class on his own accord.
He's doing better than either of us.
He golfs so much, yeah. He golfs so much. He has
It's all about being organized.
the largest fan share on this podcast, despite having the lowest attendance rate.
We could just break this back down to the 2 rules of life that Evan follows.
Be good looking and don't be ugly.
Number 1, be good looking. 2, don't be not good looking.
Yeah.
It's weird how far just being nice and like friendly to people are.
That's like all the
What
time.
reality are you nice and friendly?
You know what? As soon as I enter the working world, or I go and talk to like friends' parents, I put on who I really
I
am.
really need to see you in like a formal setting because I feel like I've never met
He does
that
well.
end of you.
He does well. He's every time I bring him out with like when I was an undergrad, I brought Evan around like my friends, mostly because I was like, hey Evan, you're not an undergrad anymore. I'm an undergrad. Come party with some undergrads.
Hello, fellow students.
And he was a hit. They all loved him. Everyone loved him.
Circle back to the 2 rules of life.
Yeah. That was a huge bonus.
You know what? If you just repeat what people say to you, it makes them feel like you're so much more engaged in what they're saying. Like, you know, that person's really nice.
That's why I
like them.
can't get along with Brad, because he says too many words at once. I'm like, well, I can't possibly repeat all that back.
Yeah.
Yeah, you made a good point. We're not on when we're with each other, because we do this so much now. I think there have been times where we all walk in and won't say a word up until we're mic testing.
Until we literally ask him, I just assume every time I see Evan, he's hungover, just because that's...
You know what? I rarely drink.
Oh!
I was super hungover.
He's got the dad noises down better than I do.
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
just-
Man,
Yes.
I didn't realize how many noises. Sometimes I just catch myself. I just make noises all the time. Like I like pick up a fork or something. I make like a noise. Like it's I make a lot of noises.
Oh.
Yeah, all
Dad
the time.
noises. Title of
Getting
this
out of the
podcast,
chair.
Dad noises. I had this on my screen. It's
So wait,
good.
this was a conversation that started about hockey jerseys.
We're gonna bring it back to hockey.
We're getting
jerseys.
back to our like off-season level of tangents this episode.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. I mean, our fans might. Tweet at us, at Winged Wheel Pod, and then follow the accounts listed in the bio. Tweet at us if you don't like what we're doing.
Evan won't respond, but there's a strong chance he'll retweet it.
Evan will sometimes like and retweet, and if you get a reply, oh boy, you're in for a day.
I usually reply to people, but if it's more than 4 words, it really meant something.
Yeah. Boston and Chicago's Winter Classic jerseys this year, fantastic.
I like Boston's the Milt Schmidt era
Yeah.
jerseys. I'm a fan. I don't remember what Chicago.
It's the black and white, it's all black jersey with white stripes and the logos outlined in white.
That's
terrible.
That's bad.
I like it.
Oh no,
I think it's
wrong
cool for a
team.
one-off.
Wrong
Like,
team.
okay, I'm a fan of black and white jerseys in general. I like the aesthetic, but it'd be like having a Red Wings jersey without red. Like the Hawks are the same way. You can't do Chicago without red. It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, it's a Winter Classic. Whatever.
Like
I mean, they've been in about 1,000. They need to. They've run out of options.
you are not wrong.
I saw someone tweeted at us saying like, why can't we be happy about this team winning? Like, what else do you
You
want?
can be.
And,
Nobody said you can't be.
and that's the thing. Like, I really want to reiterate, as Red Wings fans, not even as podcasters, not even as like so-called analysts, whatever. As Red Wings fans, we are thrilled. I love watching the Wings win. I think it's so damn cool that every time there's a game-winning goal, it's off Larkin's stick or like a Mantha pass.
It's
or
far more
Matthew's
interesting to watch them win when it's the young
100%.
players who are contributing. When it's like old guys and stuff like that, it's like, I don't really care as much because it's not showing me the future of the team.
It's like we talked about literally earlier on this podcast, and I think we kind of said it more directly on Wednesday. There's 2 outcomes for the rest of this season. Either A, this team regresses back to what we think they are going to be, in which case, great, we're getting a high draft pick and a strong class, or B, they keep winning, which means they're actually a good team, which means the young core is really good, which is going to speed up this rebuild. There's no bad scenario here. It's just, what do you think is going to happen? I tend to think they're going to regress. If they don't, great. But they're going to get these hot streaks, and it gives us glimpses of how good this core can be, which is fine. Enjoy them.
Brad, you're so right. Brad is so right. And because we've already talked about how we think they're going to regress, let's focus on their upcoming games and see what they can tackle. And I navigated away.
Speaking of which, I have a really fun idea for a guest for next week's episode based on who they're playing. Remind me.
Can you
After.
You want to tell us now?
No, because I'm not going to say it, and then he says no.
Okay. I was hoping you would tell us because I navigated away from the Red Wings schedule page. But I
Hey,
will.
for the draft next year, can we do like a hot ones for each pick?
Oh my god, that's gonna fly. Like at picks like 27 to 30.
No, like only do the top 10.
Okay,
So we do 10 increasingly hotter wings.
I'm down for that.
Like,
Maybe we can do like a live stream or something.
Have you seen the Hot Ones YouTube series?
I love that series.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like that.
Like during the draft?
So we'll get 30 wings.
I have
the first overall pick, we'll have something, mild so that like we can, be excited. And by the 10th pick, it's something super hot and people can ask us questions.
I love the concept, but it won't be able to happen live, and I'll explain why after.
Crystal's pregnant or something.
No. It's a logistic thing for the podcast. I'll explain that.
Wow.
I thought Crystal was going to be pregnant.
No. We can absolutely do this like in a video after or something as we're doing a review of the draft, which would be possible.
Hey, is Mickey getting a friend?
No.
All right.
Yeah, with Ryan, you gotta really spell it out.
Do I look more stressed?
I was like, no, but you don't even look stressed as a dad. Brad, you don't understand that. It pisses me off, and I don't even have kids to be pissed off about. If you're listening to this show and you have kids, you should hate Brad. He carries no stress in his shoulders. His skin is more or less the same as before when he had kids. He is in better shape than before he was a father. He's happy every day. He sleeps like 2 hours voluntarily and runs fine. He's so annoying. Don't like this guy. He's actually garbage.
God, I hate Twitter these days.
The Red Wings' upcoming schedule, they have a couple days off, and we'll actually be recording again before they play. Yikes for content. They'll be playing Wednesday.
Our next episode, I don't give a crap what's going on.
Oh, that's true, yeah. As long as it pans out, because it's not locked in yet.
Yeah, we're still worrying about a time, so it might be delayed, but...
Zip it.
Boston on Wednesday at home, and then they have the Caps on Friday, and then Buffalo on Saturday. Truly the game to decide the President's Trophy.
Wait, so Boston, Washington, and Buffalo?
Yeah.
Here's the regression.
Boston's basically a farm team right now.
Well, yeah, but they still have Bergeron, Marchand, and Pasternak.
Bergeron's being reevaluated, I think.
He was a game time decision, I think, yesterday, which means by Wednesday.
Is Torrey Krug because he's a Red Wings killer?
He's not hurt.
Well, you know what? I said the Coyotes would be the beginning of the regression for Detroit.
Detroit kicked them,
punched them back to Phoenix. Like they pretty much like picked
since that game, Arizona scored another shorthanded goal.
Of course,
this is comical.
Yeah.
At this point, they're more. They've got a better shorthanded goal percentage than I think it's like 9 teams power plays in the NHL right now.
That's gross.
Frightening.
That's gross.
Crazy.
And one of those teams being Arizona.
That's very crazy as well.
Detroit's points leader, of course, is still Dylan Larkin, who's operating at just under a point per game basis. I believe.
When did he drop under?
He's got 19 and 20.
Oh.
Yeah. So Nyquist is 15 and 20, and then Athanasiou is 12 and 16.
Love it.
Points per game drops a little bit after that. Tyler Bertuzzi is 11 and 20. Dennis Cholowski, whatever you want to say. Cholowski? For sure?
That's what I heard from the on TV guys.
All right, the on TV guys, the movie talkies.
Yeah.
I forgot Fox Sports Detroit for a second.
Back in my day, you send me a telegram or nothing.
Jesus.
10 points in 18 games for Cholowski. Franz Nielsen's got 10 points.
He doesn't have a goal yet, though.
No, he doesn't. Oh, man.
Don't know how to feel about that.
Mantha's been picking up a little bit. 9 points in 20 games.
But I think 8 of those points have come in his last, 10 or 12 games or something like that.
Yeah, he's got 4 in his last 5. I don't think we'll see a 30-goal season from Mantha unless he, goes on a tear.
Sure hope so. I picked him up on our free agent wire.
Yeah. But he's
not going to get you any assists.
And then Rasmussen's already up to 5 goals.
3 of them in his last 3 games.
Which is good. The big thing, the really, really big thing for me, though, is genuinely the 922 from Jimmy Howard. I think if you look at the underlying numbers, and I know a lot of you don't love that, but if you look at the underlying numbers, this team isn't operating statistically, at least what the numbers tell us, in a way that makes this sustainable.
How many bad Montreal teams has Carey Price carried?
Exactly, and that's just
Here's the thing, though. If you dive deeper into the underlying numbers, this is very a Blashill thing that he could fix pretty quickly, because the Wings' top line is actually pretty dominant. Mind you, Darren Helm's out long term now, so not that that's necessarily going to hurt the line depending who they put there, but let's be honest.
It's going to be Applicator, isn't it?
Yeah. Probably. But either way, that line was operating at a really, really good shot share. The second line, when it's been intact, has actually been doing well as well. The Glendening, Bertuzzi, Applicator line's been getting caved, which is a problem because they've been getting a lot of ice. So I think that's, and then the fourth line obviously hasn't been great. So that it's kind of depending how you look at it. If you bump the first line and second line's ice time up a bit and take more time away from the bottom six, basically what every other team in the league has done, where they've been separating pretty dramatically their top six from the bottom six. If Detroit does that, the shot shares will go up by a lot. So it's
that makes
not
far too much sense.
It's not necessarily. So again, do I think they're going to regress? Yes, not as dramatically as the underlying numbers say they're going to. That's basically where I'm at.
Let's talk about the overall standings. Florida is 6-4 in their last 10. Is this the beginning of their resurgence to where they should be?
It's like what happens to Florida every year. They just started it earlier this year.
Yeah.
Mike Hoffman has a franchise record for point streak.
Yeah. It's 15 or something.
It's ongoing. It's still going.
What a great pickup.
For
I dropped him in fantasy right before it started. The LA Kings
Did you?
have, I don't know if it's this league or a different one. The LA Kings have 13 points total, which is 7 back. Detroit's 20, which is so annoying.
LA's showing no signs of this turning around, and it doesn't hurt when their top two goalies are both out long term.
Oh yeah, who's it? Jack Campbell's their goalie now?
No, he's also out long term.
When did that happen?
It's Cal Peterson and Peter Budaj right now.
When did that? Oh, Peter Budaj will be fine. I like that guy. He always has a way of coming in and being competent.
But he's not going to be great, especially when the team in front of him is awful.
I mean, potato, you know? Yeah, you got Drew Doughty.
Well, here, take this for what it's worth, but generally speaking, you trot out your better goalie against better teams in the NHL, right? Cal Peterson played against Nashville yesterday, the top team in the league.
Hey, what are your team names in our fantasy?
Mine?
Yeah.
Mine is R for something.
Putin, the R, and Ryan?
Oh, Putin, the R.
You definitely still have Mike Hoffman.
Oh, I didn't drop him? What a time to be alive.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's your team name?
I think I'm Rah Rasmussen.
I wasn't sure if that was you. Anyway,
Yeah.
now I know when I need to pay attention.
I made my name Putin, the R, and Ryan because the first 5 or 6 draft picks were all Russians. And I was just at this point I had my draft board and I was hoping the 5th guy was there, not the first guy available because he was Russian. I've made a few meme picks, but it's gone well. I think we're doing pretty well. I'm I'm 3rd in standings and you're 4th. I just want that to be noted. I know we did that last
Oh,
year.
Ryan, you actually have more points than me.
Yeah, man.
And I'm first in my division.
I have made almost no pickups.
But also, I'm winning 10-0 today.
Whoever isn't updating their lineup and is letting Brad beat them 10-0, whichever listener that is,
I can figure out who it is. Let's shame them on air.
frig off, you know?
Can I figure it out? Oh, I don't know if I can.
Hold on, I'll pull it up.
Yes.
I'll shame him since I've earned some bragging rights here.
Toronto's 7-3 in their last 10. Tampa's 7-3 in the last 10. Nashville's 6-3-1.
Lil Uzi Bertuzzi.
Lil Uzi Bertuzzi.
Shame on you, whoever that may be.
Is there not a name under their? There should be a name.
Oh, they're in last.
Oh, Derek.
Derek Shipper. Derek Shipper, you are under Winged Wheel Podcast arrest.
They are the LA Kings of the fantasy league.
The rest of the league, Montreal is still 8th overall in the league. Winnipeg's down at 10. There's a lot of kind of aberrations. I feel like there are a lot of small aberrations this year.
But here's the thing, Ken Holland's been the guy who's championed. By American Thanksgiving, you very rarely see any change from the playoff teams to the non-playoff teams. And even the people who have done research off that statement have goes, yeah, most years only 1 or 2 teams in the NHL drop out of it.
Get a load of this guy. The people who've done research off that statement. It's just numbers, Brad.
It's just
long division.
But you get
We did some double-blind tests.
But either way, so we're getting near that point where the standings as they are now are gonna be pretty close to what they will be. There's always that one team that gets hot, and that's fine. But by and large, like you said, we've got near a half dozen teams who are real aberrations right now. Well, odds are most of them won't right the ship, or some of them will continue to be hot.
And Detroit, at 8-2 in their last 10, are 5 spots out of the playoffs. And so, even with this, if you're Ken Holland, I'll ask you, Evan, and I'll ask you, Brad, as a Ken Holland apologist. If you're Ken Holland, do you do the following? Trade Nyquist and or any other pieces that are tradable for a good return? B, fire Blashill in favor of Joe Quenneville.
Well, I mean, B is wildly more correct.
Which is also...
this isn't a select one or the other. It's all that apply.
Oh, yeah, well, the
I
second
should've done
option
AB.
is definitely an upgrade. I almost don't even know how
Now
I
that-
could counter-argue that. And that's the first part is basically where your philosophy is on this team. It's, at one point they were they were 2-9 and then they go 8-2. So it's really like where do you
pin this, right?
Where do you pin it? Like, is this team 8-2? Or are they 2-8? So, you know what? If you get an offer and it's too good to say no, I think you take it. Because
I think they might get that offer for Nyquist this year.
He's on pace for like
0.75. Yeah, that's a 60-point player. If I'm a team, if I'm not Pittsburgh this year, but I'm a Pittsburgh any other year where they weren't like the decided first team in the Eastern Conference, but they were there, I'm putting in heavy.
Especially if you're one of those teams who gets an injury really close to the trade deadline.
100%. If I'm Nashville, might be a good pickup.
Nashville could fits everybody into the cap.
100%.
So
Yeah,
they could take a Dante Fabro for him.
But do we want a Nashville? I mean, yeah, we do want a trade with them if we get a first rounder out of it. But do we want their first rounder?
No one to Dante Fabro.
You won't get anyone else's. You won't get a first rounder better than 20th overall.
Yeah.
No.
Sorry, I'm going to add a third option. Do you sign Jimmy Howard for 2 years at $5.3 million per year? As of right now, as the Red Wings GM. Those three things.
So, I would not offer Jimmy a contract now, whether I wanted to keep him or not. Like I said, I want to see how the season goes in full before I make any decisions.
Okay.
For me, with the Nyquist situation, I honestly, understanding that the Red Wings, even if they like stay hot and like crack a playoff spot or challenging for a playoff spot, understanding they're not a cup contender.
That's really the end goal.
How the Red Wings are this year to me is irrelevant. What I do with Nyquist, the conversation I would have with Nyquist has everything to do with it. Because again, he's on pace for a 60-point season. He's still a good player, and he's one of the few good Red Wings under 30 years old of the veterans. Mm-hmm. I go Gus, and I offer him like a 4 or a 5 year contract at a cap hit pretty close to what he is now. Are you taking this? If he says yes, the preference would be to keep him because you need guys like him on your roster to turn the team around. If he says no, I'm selling him at the deadline for the best offer, regardless of if the Red Wings are in a playoff spot or not.
Nyquist is 29 years old right now. He has a chance. He doesn't even have the way he positioned his contracts. Not that it's an indictment on the guy, but he didn't really position himself to maximize his earnings, because the fact that he's a UFA at near 30 years old, if not 30 years old, is not good for him.
No, he's not. His next contract's not going to be huge, which is why I think they could get him on a reasonable 3 to 4
I think that's exactly why he'll want more, because right now he can earn $6 million a year for 4 years.
Oh yeah, and it's all his thing. And if he says, "Sorry, I'm looking at an 8-year contract, even if it's a lower cap hit, I need to cash out now," understandable. Please waive your no move. We're going to sell you at the deadline.
Of course he has a no move.
Because we're not going to re-sign you at the end of the year.
And you have to remember, this guy broke into the league at a later age. He was like 24 when he started producing. And so if I'm him, I want to maximize whatever's left of my earning potential. And at 30 years old, I'll take that 7 or 8 year contract at 5.5, or I will take that 4-year contract and take see if you can sucker someone into a 4x7, right? Because if he's going to consistently put up 60 points, even if he can only do it for 2-3 more years, for me, at 29-year-old 60-point scorer, I don't see a world where this version of the Red Wings, 8-2 or 2-8 in their last 10, doesn't position themselves to move him at the deadline.
No, I do not see a strong possibility of him staying for all those exact reasons.
Yeah.
So odds are I would try to move him at the deadline, but I'd be upfront with him, because if he's like, yeah, I'm looking for like, a 4x7, okay, that's fantastic. We're not going to give it to you at the end of the year. Complete transparency. So would you like to go to a cup contender this year and have your run? What player's going to say no to that? You ship him out.
Do you sign him to 4x6 in the offseason?
I'd consider it. I wouldn't love it.
I would.
You gotta see what you think is coming down the pipeline in terms of contracts.
Because, I mean, if we're all clamoring for Holland by whatever reason to unload some of these bad contracts, like Abdelkader, Helm, whoever, if you can, you hope he doesn't re-sign Vanek. You still need to put guys in those spots. You can only put so many rookies in there.
That's what Wade Megan's for.
Yeah.
I'm just like, again, but then it comes down to, this is where, getting back to the conversation we had Wednesday about Jimmy, this is where I would start worrying about the cap hit, because then I would be weighing the decision, who do I like more who do I think is more valuable to turn this team around, Jimmy Howard or Gus Nyquist? Because if they're both asking that much, I'm only picking one.
And right now, if you're Ken Holland,
if I'm picking between Nyquist or Jimmy at an extension right now, is Jimmy.
Oh no, I wasn't gonna talk
Man,
about that.
Facebook is gonna blow up.
I was moving on from that. Right
Okay.
now, do you make a push for Quenneville and move Blashill?
I mean, they're not going to fire a coach after he goes 8-2, but yeah, if I'm looking for the,
Can you imagine the cojones on that?
I'm
Oof.
first 10-game skid they have at this point on. Like if they go like
They won't.
3-6-1 in the next 10, oh god, yeah. Oh, I'm doing it in a heartbeat. Just give me the excuse.
They won't though.
They won't. I think they're going to ride out the
yeah.
season and pick whoever they I honestly, if I'm a betting man, I'm betting Blashill's back next year, just the way this organization operates.
You know what? Nothing.
I'm gonna hate every damn.
You know what?
second
Nothing
of it,
will
but-
surprise me, and I'll still be disappointed. I think.
Because
just
you
no
can see
way,
their
right?
positioning to the he's never had a good roster to work with, which I would argue the first year he came here,
You
but
just can't do that, right? Like you can't. That has to be illegal. Wasn't that one of the ballot measures in the recent election? You
Listen,
can't bring back
listen,
Blashill.
I-
It was legal weed, and then can't bring back.
I remember
Blashill.
that. There was a
Yeah.
referendum on it.
Yeah,
I have basically
we voted. Busloads of voters from Ontario
Yeah.
shipped to Michigan.
Over the last 2.5 years, I have basically agreed with almost everything Ken Holland's done, except what he's done with Blashill. Like he should have been gone at the end of his last contract.
Yeah.
I cannot believe he's still here, which is the whole logic I have for I can't believe he's still here. So why the hell wouldn't they keep
Quenneville's
him
good
around
for
after
some
this?
good memes too. He grabbed his dick once, so
Oh,
I mean, our meme per 60. Well, we're gonna take a hit, but
Yeah.
it's it's still
It's
there.
still
Higher quality memes, like Blashill's like the.
He just spits out anything and
Nine
anything
gang
that
of-
sticks.
He's the
Meme
low-hanging
words.
fruit.
We have one of our listeners in Sweden. His name is Master Halden too. I love him dearly. He's the one who made that Brad hipster video. Do you remember? Like every time he would repeat the "I watched Team North America" like before anyone else did, and like another piece of hipster clothing would get added to him. He made Time to
I
Evan.
almost forgot about that.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, the Time to Evan
Oh.
stats website. Yeah. If you could go ahead, if you're
We've-
listening, and go back to when Brad says, a clip where Brad said, I've agreed with pretty much everything Holland has done over the last few years. That's just a very important soundbite to me as a person. And if and when things do crash and burn again because of Ken Holland, it will have that tattooed on you. I'll get the waveform and tattoo it on your back.
If all goes
or
right,
your ass.
if all goes right, it'll be irrelevant in 8 months.
You're right. I want to talk about Edmonton.
Do we have to? They make me sad.
Peter Chiarelli has the hockey equivalent of the this isn't a good metaphor, but I'm doing it anyways because I don't care. He has the equivalent of the nuclear codes, and every day he does something. He just kind of tosses that nuclear football around, or like hands it to a little kid at a rally and forgets to pick
Is
it
he
up.
the nicest person ever? Because there's no other reason why he's an NHL GM.
What was the turnaround? Like he just traded Strome for Spooner.
Someone posted and it was like what they had and what they ended up with, and it was
A 29
not good.
They basically got Ryan Spooner and a 2019 third-round pick is what they have at the moment out of Eberle, the pick that got Barzal and
Olivier or whatever his name
James
is.
Beauvillier.
Conner.
Beauvillier, yeah, that was the guy that they got. So it's like, oh my god, that's a fireable offense right there.
They like,
and that doesn't even count Hull for Larson.
This should have started when in the draft where he had 3 straight picks and he was trying to trade it to Toronto for the second overall pick, or he trying to trade it to it was Toronto, right? Or Toronto for the first overall pick, I should say. The year they drafted Matthews.
That was, and it was funny too because to get 3 first-round picks in a row at like 12, 13, that's a work of art. Like that was like his, oh my god, Shirley might be back, and then he bungled the picks, and everything's been awful since.
Yeah, it was. He left Connor on the board, he left Barzal on the board, and he left Thomas Chabot. Those were the next 3 guys after his picks: Barzal, Connor, and Chabot. He did get DeBrusque, who's good, but I would take any of the other 3 guys over him. And then he took Sensation and
Zach Senyshyn, who's never played in the NHL, and Jakub Zboril, who got called up and played his first NHL game, I think, yesterday.
yeah. Turned
That's-
Eberle into Spooner. Turned Taylor Hall into Adam Larson. The other day he said we don't have any good passing defensemen on this team, not noting that every single defenseman that was on the Edmonton Oilers roster was there because of Peter
Oh, there was
Chiarelli.
another Justin Schultz was on that list too. I remember.
Oh, and let's not forget too, he turned $42 million into Milan Lucic.
Yeah.
Holy!
It is an affront to proper management that the Cats family still employs Peter Chiarelli as the...
They are the nicest people. Then
They are genuinely... They are too distracted by their
Philanthropists.
kids' like frizzy red hair to be... It's...
That kid's a unit now. They're gonna draft him soon.
He's a big boy, yeah.
Shirley's gonna draft him.
it's gonna be early too.
For the sake of hockey, Chiarelli really has to go.
For the sake of... I'm glad you said that. For the sake of hockey, because Connor McDavid is being wasted there. And it's pissing me. How are guys like Milan Lucic and Zach Kassian still, like, regulars in the NHL, let alone playing key roles on a team like the Edmonton Oilers?
We're going to start calling for Chiarelli to get fired, and then Yzerman's going to go there, and we're going to be like, oh, wait, shit, stop.
No, that's a bad move. A bad move.
To be fair, if Steve Yzerman ends up anywhere other than Detroit, this probably would be the top of my list.
Oh, yeah.
That would be the most depressing episode of all time.
Connor McDavid right now should be going through his painful throes of getting so close but not winning a cup, and then learning, like, the Crosby kind of steps.
Yeah.
Those paces, but he's just not...
Connor McDavid getting the Edmonton Oilers to the playoffs is a Stanley Cup.
It makes me sick. We could talk about this ad nauseum. We're going to do a few quick hits before overtime. Hoffman's point streak, we already mentioned it. That was a quick hit. The concussion lawsuit between it was a class action against the NHL was settled for...
Peanuts on the dollar.
Yeah, $22,000 a player, I think.
That'll make a big difference.
Yep, and for everybody who's wondering why Gary Bettman would never admit any connection from concussions to CTE, this is why.
Yep. He did a great job. Oh, he recently got inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame, which I'm actually a big supporter of. He had a hilarious joke saying, this proves that the Hockey Hall of Fame isn't a popularity contest. Yep. Which is genuinely hysterical.
I actually like Gary Bettman for who he is. I'm not one of the big Bettman haters. He does his job, and
he gets booed all the time, and he always has a good joke about it.
He does own it. He owns it well. Not like Goodell. Like, he actually owns it well now. He's genuinely one of the best commissioners. It makes the whole Players Association versus League very lopsided. Like, he does a great job.
Here's the thing, though. We know the big elephant in the room in the NHL right now, whereas we're a year and a half away from another potential lockout. Everything positive I have to say about Gary Bettman is with the understanding that of the lockouts that he's had, although one of the key lockouts, the 04-05 one, I'm glad he won that one, and I actually can stomach the fact that we lost that year because of the cap, and now we have parity in the NHL. But if there's another goddamn lockout, everything nice I said about him goes out the window, because there are no significant issues on this one like there were on the last few. Like, there are issues.
The money's the big one. The money's good right now.
Yeah, there's like little hiccups like between escrow and stuff like that there's disagreements in, but they're not like massive issues. So if this one somehow goes to a lockout, everybody involved needs to be fired and start anew after this, because we can't. Seattle's coming in, Vegas is getting traction, the NHL is growing in popularity like it never has before. They cannot afford a lockout. They can't. Even a month, they can't do it.
How would Gary Bettman get fired? The owners basically have to vote?
Yeah, the owners would have to vote him out.
And does it have to be a majority, or does it have to be unanimous?
I don't know.
I'm genuinely not sure.
But the owners love him. He does a great job for the owners, and
oh yeah.
We're gonna move into overtime because Brad has to be out in 29 minutes. We're going to start with, of course, every overtime segment, we're going to start with our Patreon patrons whose support makes this show happen, and their comments will be read out on air, guaranteed, as our way of saying thanks. We're going to start with Joe Caboose119Z Falzone. He says, it's so much fun to watch the young guys leading us to victory. Raz and Cho in particular, for those two, what is something that they're excelling at, something they've improved on since the beginning of the season, and something they really need to work on going forward. So Rasmussen, let's start with Rasmussen. Something he's excelling at. Crease play.
Net front.
Tips a ton of pucks.
Something
he's getting it now.
Something he's improved on since the beginning of the season.
The cycle, the board battles,
and something he really needs to work on going forward.
Decision making.
Yeah,
he doesn't get the puck off his stick quick enough when
he's
away
keep
from
getting bigger, stronger.
Bigger.
He needs to be big.
He has the capacity to generate more opportunities than he does.
He does, and again, it's just a timing and pace thing for him. Yeah, there's guys that still outmuscle him, and that's just going to come with age. You can't rush that, and I don't expect that to be fixed overnight. Like I said, I think that when he has the puck anywhere outside of 10 feet from the net, he's not quick enough in his decision making, and he's not moving,
It will come.
making the play quick enough, essentially. So that's what he needs to work on.
Cholowski, something he's excelling at. Hockey. Genuinely like quarterbacking the play, picking up the puck and moving the play down the ice.
100%.
Something he's improved a lot, improved on a lot since the beginning of the season.
Man, he kind of came in like doing all the things he's doing well. He kind of came in doing them well. I will say his patience.
Yeah.
He's not forcing plays that aren't there anymore.
Something he needs to work on moving forward.
Gap control.
Defensive. Like the defensive mistakes.
Gap. I'll even narrow it down. Gap control. He gives guys too much time to do stuff with the puck too often.
Also, shout out to Luke for playing very underappreciated hockey this season. Jonathan McLeish, I hope I'm saying that okay, says, great to see Larkin, Cholowski, and Rass among the points again tonight. I watched an SHL match prior to our game with the Devils. Do you ever see a time where we have more European-style support than stands in the NHL? Vegas, Seattle maybe. Their MLS side has a European-style Ultras group, so that might transfer to hockey. Keep up the good work and keep bringing us interviews. Loving it. Thank you, Jonathan.
Oh my god, I just tweeted about that. I think it was one of our listeners, Carl Svensson.
Yeah.
He tweeted me a post-goal celebration from, I think it was a women's hockey game in Luleå. It was so cool. They had lights going off everywhere. They had this cool like giant red bar around the score sheet. They had this chant that they were doing, flags going everywhere. I want this. I want that crazy soccer style atmosphere.
Yeah, European fans do sports better.
I know. If you're one of those people, if you come to an NHL game, you sit in the stands quietly. You don't cheer. You don't chant. Screw
Yeah,
you.
who would do that?
Come on.
Rowan says this latest run of wins seems unsustainable, given they've primarily been against lottery division teams, but whatever. I'm enjoying the younger guys playing well and fully accept the wins are still going to be awful at times this season, and we are one bad stretch of goaltending away from being up at the top of the lottery division again. Since we got on to jerseys last episode, which teams should revert to their third/alternate jerseys full time? Here's a rundown, and the quiz will be graded. Oh God.
Okay, you're gonna have to just one at a time, or else I'll forget all the ones. Yes.
The Ducks' third jersey, should that be their primary?
Is that like the Mighty Ducks
Yeah.
logo?
They need to scrap every jersey they have. It's the best of the ones they have currently, but they just need to start from scratch.
The Kachina for Arizona. No, I like their set. I really do like their full set.
Oh, I am torn. I really do like Arizona's jerseys. I'm cool with the Kachina being a third.
I like it as a third.
Carolina's third. Stays a third. That logo's not great.
The logo ruins it for me. If
Yeah.
they put their current logo on that jersey, I'd say make it the primary.
Calgary's 100%. 100%.
Which one's theirs?
This,
They just went back to the original.
Oh yeah, that one is filth.
Colorado's, yes. I love these jerseys.
I love that color scheme.
You know what? I'm going to say I prefer Colorado's current jerseys.
Oh.
They're very close to their original
Typical
ones.
dad response.
I like it. They're very close to their original jerseys, which were their best jerseys.
Columbus,
I hate Columbus. It's so boring.
fully embarrass myself and say that I always thought the Blue Jackets were a blue jacket, not like the Blue Jackets from the American Civil War. Wasn't their first logo didn't they have a blue jacket or something
No.
on it?
But no,
I'm just an idiot.
Columbus's might be
they
my
had like a
least.
B.
Yeah,
Stinger.
that's why I
Yeah.
thought it was what it was.
Columbus's third might be my least favorite. In the
Yeah, it's
NHL.
pretty boring.
It's so boring.
Oilers. The blue with the...
I actually like their
I
current
think
ones.
Wait, what's different than their current jersey they wear now?
They have the orange ones and the blue's a bit darker.
LA, it's essentially just their current jersey, so that one won't count.
I'm gonna say the LA just needs to go back to any of their pre-1995 jerseys. I don't care which version.
Yeah. New Jerseys, I am in love with their third jerseys. I would love to see more.
New Jersey?
Yeah.
So one with
Oh, the
green.
green one. Oh yeah, the red, white, and green. Those should be their permanents for sure.
Islanders, nah, it's whatever.
The Islanders, yeah, whatever.
Philly's black jerseys are great as a third in my
Yeah,
mind.
I like those as a third.
Yep.
Pittsburgh's thirds are fine as a third because their home and away are
Yep.
gorgeous. St. Louis's thirds are
So
pretty sweet.
I love St. Louis's regular.
I
jerseys.
do as well.
Yeah.
San Jose's stealth are good as a third.
Yeah, that black
I would
one
make
is
them the
sick.
primary. I would make the teal the third. I love those jerseys.
The Jets should set their third jersey on fire and never make that mistake again.
No, every
That
time
blue is
it's
awful.
every time it's not their 1995 jersey, I'm pissed. That's all it should be. They got close with their Heritage Classic
They should
jersey.
do an Atlanta Thrashers throwback.
That would be like one shoulder,
Yeah.
like the blue with the, and then their Caps third jersey.
I forgot what isn't it just their 80s jersey?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
I think it's fine.
I like it better than I don't like Washington's current jerseys very much. I find they're still the piping nightmare. So
Joseph Mainema says, I woke up this morning and remembered that Eric Carlson was in San Jose, but I haven't heard a lot about him. He has 0 goals, 1 goal now, 10 assists, and is a -9. Haven't watched him play at all this year, but has his play dropped off that much over the past 2 years? Is the distraction of his personal life?
No, it's just adapting to a new system.
Yeah.
Eric Carlson can't do it. It's hard for everybody then.
Yeah, he's getting it together. He had 2 points yesterday.
Dan Grossberg says, are we finally done flinging octopi onto the ice? I don't see it happen all that much. Could be because of the out of market and limited to watching games online.
It will happen if the next time Detroit plays an important game.
When Detroit's good again, you'll see...
It'll start up.
Yeah. What are some of your favorite hockey traditions that seem to have disappeared? I miss the rat throwing from the Panthers back in the day.
I understand why stuff like that has to go away because, like, you can't do that every single goal. It's just...
The catfish one at Nashville is weird.
Trying to think, like, what's a hockey tradition that... I'm struggling to just remember what some of them are that aren't around anymore.
It's... the octopus is truly the best. Like it is
a lot of non-hockey fans know about, non-hockey fans know about that as well.
Yeah.
So it kind of transcends sports.
Nashville's the only team that really does, like, chants anymore. I miss that when, like, a goalie would have a bad game and you just start chanting his name.
I always love a good bullshit chant, but it doesn't happen a lot anymore.
Like, you just the subtle, like, Anderson.
Yeah.
Like, you don't see stuff like that. The crowds in the NHL are almost too tame nowadays. We need just to get rowdy again.
Michael Martell says, hey boys, is Evan there? What if he's just a friend we made along the way? He is here.
It can be both.
At what point do we decide the tank is over? Not this season, surely, but there will always be another first-round prospect to aim for. What boxes do we need to have checked before we say we don't need to play towards the draft lottery anymore? Center, defenseman.
Yep. I think at this point with the core, that's pretty much it, because there's enough depth at forward in the system of guys who are likely to pan out. There's enough depth at defenseman. Well, there's more than enough depth.
We have
even if half of them
15
pan out.
goalies that one has to be.
Yeah,
there.
it's just we need those game breakers. So if they, again, it's a long shot both happens, but if the Red Wings legitimately win the draft lottery and get Eric Carlson this summer, they're set. They start trying to win next year.
Michael Martell also sent us a picture of Mia, the Coonhound Beagle, with a funny hat on.
Oh.
That's the best comment of the day, just because it came with pups.
I like dogs with hats.
Dogs with hats, dogs with jobs. Love that. John Pete said, hey guys, honestly this season has been disappointing and extremely fun at the same time. Larkin looks like a stud and captain, Cholowski a top 4 D-man, and cool hand Luke Glendening is playing his best hockey. I'm worried about draft day and how this plays out, but Carolina gave me hope with their jump. With this surging team, does Blashill have some extra breathing room now? He shouldn't, but he does. How much of what we see are we seeing as coaching? None.
Zero.
Almost none. I'll say a little bit. The power play is top 10 in the NHL this year, and that is entirely coaching because Dan Bilesma came in and changed everything they were doing.
How much is actually credit to Bilesman having a real power play? Oh, look at that.
Hey.
I know it's not sustainable, but some success does feel good. And it does, and it should, and don't let anyone say you're not allowed to enjoy this.
Again, the Red Wings are 8-2 in their last 10, and they are still 4 days away from being dead last in the East if teams behind them win.
I'm not pro-tank. I am pro seeing the silver lining when your team is tanking, whether you like it or not. I am pro-Detroit Red Wings. That sounded like a political statement. Also, I was wondering if you guys ever considered video reviews. I know you talk about systems, but I thought it'd be nice for you to offer patrons a brief video of what you mean. I, for one, would love to see a video of what you're talking about. Even some video of draft prospects and a breakdown of them would be fun. All the best, guys. Always something we toss around.
I'm currently learning how to properly cut and edit GIFs so that I can start incorporating them into articles.
GIFs would be, yeah.
And then video editing is like the next level of learning.
Truly, the only hindrance for us for like that kind of video output is time. Once we have a space, and we're constantly talking about that behind the scenes of like setting up like our recording room.
I literally have a room where my massive Unreal computer sits, and I could just soundproof it, and it would be good to go.
What is this guy? Why is he? Oh, lead with that. This is.
I literally just built the like top of the line computer.
All right, we'll talk after.
Anyways, if we can bump our patrons up to like 1,000 patrons instead of 100, and I can do this full time, I'll drop a few every week for you guys.
Oh, if this becomes our, if you guys want to pay 3 salaries, we will. You'll never see the end of the
Or
contract.
just drop our names to very prominent people at organizations who could afford to pay us to do this.
Yeah. Genuinely though, like we do want to be doing that stuff more. We hesitate to make it say it's gonna be a regular thing because like with our time commitment, we're pretty maxed out right now.
My top 25 prospects article took like 3 weeks.
Yeah. But yes, something we want to do more of. Kaywa says, "What's up, guys? The resilience that this team has shown in November has been awesome to watch. Fighting from 2 goals down multiple times in multiple games shows that these guys are real pros. Never ever throwing in the towel. I'm really seeing the young core starting to find out who they are, which seems to like making comebacks from 2 goals down, apparently. Brad, I remember when you mentioned that the best case scenario for this team is true growth from the young core. I really think it's happening right before our eyes. Agree, or am I just an idiot?" Agree.
It's better than the draft pick because we're hinging this season on basically 6 to 7 players right now, so more is better.
Adam Flett says, "I spotted a story from Wing and Motown on Twitter with a trade suggestion for the Wings involving a winger from Pittsburgh in return for Jensen, and it got me thinking about what
Wasn't that on Wings Nation?
I thought it was Wings Nation, yeah.
Anyways.
Thinking, if it was on a whim, sorry. Thinking about what we can realistically expect in return for the 3 bits of trade bait we have, Nyquist, Jensen, and Vanek. What are your wanted returns if after trade deadline Jensen remains, do we send him down to Grand Rapids to give Hronik or Billy the experience in the show? Hope you're enjoying the Upside Down as much as I am."
They're not going to send Jensen down. They're going to extend him or they're going to trade him.
I have a hard time seeing Vanek moved.
Like, I think, who was it? I think they were talking about some type of package that revolved around Jensen and something for Sprong, which I think is a little optimistic, but, you know, hey, if you can make that work somehow, sure. I don't know how I feel about Sprong as a prospect, because I feel like he should be in the NHL by now, but here we are. Again, Nyquist is going to get you a late first to mid-second round pick, depending on who you're trading with. And I think Vanek's got a full no move, so I doubt he's going anywhere. And based on the season he's having, I don't think anybody would take him. Remember last year when Columbus tried to, or was it Columbus or Vancouver? Columbus traded him to Vancouver, and they couldn't get anything more than Tyler Mott for him. So
Not good.
yeah.
Justin Kalinsky says, "Hello, boys and Brad. So much for Lose for Hughes, eh? Oh well. Should I lay off the crown and quit telling myself that our young studs could possibly take us to the playoffs? I mean, enjoy the crown for the crown, not for the... Don't... Yeah. Yeah.
They don't have to be one and the same.
It's more of a possibility now than it was at the beginning of the season from what we thought. But yeah, I still wouldn't bet on it.
I would hedge no bets that way. Another thing, Go Blue in the officiating of their last game was shady AF. Yes, Go Blue. Also, Maryland, I hate you for not pulling out that win
I
against Ohio
watched.
State.
He was wide open.
He was wide open.
I would have made that throw.
Yeah, that was upsetting. Anyways, that's this Saturday, Michigan, OSU.
Yep.
Yes.
Chris Cannell says, "Hey boys, I have a term paper coming up, and I decided to write it about how the Wings were the most dominant franchise in sports from the mid '90s to the late 2000s. Since it's really the only thing I know anything about. Did you guys see what Blash said about calling up Zadina and how they weren't calling him up for just a couple games, and if they call him up, he's staying for a while? Is this the right call?
I don't hate it.
I think that's the right call.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, let him. Like, if you want to call him up for a game as an emergency call up, just so he has like a taste, be like, all right, kid, this is it. Now you know what to prepare for, and then his next call up is significant. I'm all for it. Honestly, watch. It'll be game like 45 because he's playing pro, so everybody thinks that the 9 game matters this year, as we talked about. It doesn't. The 40 game mark is one that matters because it slides the year of his unrestricted free agency eligibility because we're paying him this year. He's on his first year of his ELC. So you watch game like 45. If he's doing at least decent Grand Rapids, they'll bring him up because then it does not matter if he plays the rest of the season or not.
Also, is Canadian Thanksgiving any different from American Thanksgiving, like food-wise? No.
No, just less football.
And smaller waistlines.
Yeah. Jeez. What's your guys' favorite Thanksgiving food? Have a good one, boys.
I love scalloped potatoes.
Garlic mashed potatoes and gravy.
Yeah. Any carb, really.
Yeah, carbs.
My answer comes with an asterisk because
Oh, you say chicken?
It's something dumb.
It's stuffing, but it can go either really well or really poorly.
That's
true, yeah.
Depending who's making it.
Yeah.
My
A
grandma
good
makes
savory stuffing.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Antonio says, "Hey guys, I'm looking to begin my jersey collection. What are some classic jerseys that no collection is complete without?" That's good.
Are we talking like Red Wings or everybody?
All right, here's the thing. If you want a classic jersey collection and you're a Red Wings fan, one Red Wings home or one Red Wings away.
Yeah.
Get your favorite current player and then get a classic. Get an Yzerman, get a Howe, something
Steve
like
Ott.
that.
Yeah. If we're talking like just the most significant NHL jerseys of all time, if we're talking like a massive jersey collection, like you plan on getting this up to like 20, 30 jerseys.
Original Mighty Ducks.
Every original 6 team, you have to have at least one. The Mighty Ducks, Hartford Whalers are a must. Quebec Nordiques are a must. Basically, the defunct teams are always cool.
California Golden Seals.
Oh, that's a good one.
A legend.
Kansas City Scouts.
Yeah. I have Team Canada and Team USA, Team Russia, Team Sweden.
Yep, the classics. Like I said, you got to get the staples, and then you got to just get the cool.
But for Red Wings, one home, one away, and make sure one of them is a current player, because it has to matter to you now. You want to be able to wear it if Larkin goes on a tear, feel good about your Larkin jersey, and then get like an Eisman, a Fedorov, a Shanahan, a Howe, something that like.
We'll see how my Steve Ott one ages.
Yeah,
and
I think it'll go well.
And if you want to go all out, get every iteration of Red Wings jerseys, including the Stadium Club. Like I'm trying to get like the one-offs. I think I just need the barber pole and the outdoor game against Colorado are the two I'm missing right now.
If you're a listener and you know how to locate this jersey, a Nicholas Lidstrom, a first Winter Classic, Wrigley Field Winter Classic, Nick Lidstrom.
For those watching on YouTube, that one.
Medium jersey. I'm a men's medium. If you can find that for me, not $500 I would love you forever.
Why don't you just get the jersey and get the name put on it?
You can't. That's a good point. But like you have a hard time finding. Oh, they don't even arch it.
No, it's not arch.
No, but it's a custom name bar, right?
Yeah.
It's a custom color for that name bar. And letter.
Yeah.
Anyways, Stan Olsen says, "Hey guys, hope all is well. Is it concerning for San Jose that they haven't extended Carlson? No, they actually can't because of CBA.
It's January. They literally cannot extend until January.
Yeah, and I don't think he's just a rental. They're ludicrous if they don't keep him. We have time for some Patreon, Reddit comments. Mika hasn't found her way downstairs yet, so we can probably manage that. Yarvik7 says, really enjoying the twice a week podcast. You guys rock it. Thank you very much. We appreciate that feedback. Everyone else, please let us know how that feedback is doing. This is a lower content episode. Let us know how this went. Just saw the musical Wicked. Here's my question. If you had to cast the Wizard of Oz with Red Wings players/coaches, who would you cast as the following? Scarecrow, no brain. That's Jeff Blashill.
I was going to say Justin Hazelcater.
Tin Man, no heart. That is Anthony Mantha.
Oh, I hate it, but it's probably the most accurate at the moment.
Cowardly Lion, so no courage.
Ooh.
Jonathan Erickson.
No. No courage. Who have we never, ever seen get in any sort of scrap? Nyquist.
No, I think Nyquist plays with some tenacity, honestly.
But I've never seen him get, like, in anybody's face.
Oh, I spoke too soon. Mika was opening the door. She knocked first, which is nice. I don't know about The Wizard is truly Mike Ilitch, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, but The Wizard is and always will be
Who's
Mike
the
Ilitch.
Wizard? I know who it is, but I don't remember
projection of the big
yeah,
man.
I don't remember the characteristics of.
I don't really know the character.
The evil genius, so Ken Holland.
The Wicked Witch. Ooh. Mike Babcock, now that he's left.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Dorothy the hero is Dylan Larkin.
Yes.
Toto the sidekick is Philip Zadina right now.
No, the sidekick? No, that would be Mantha right now.
Darren Helm, unfortunately.
Yeah, Helm.
Who's no courage?
No courage.
Who's just Timo Pulkkinen?
Oh, yikes. Yeah, Martin Furr, Timo Pulkkinen. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Game Over 20784 says, new to the podcast, really enjoying it. It has definitely boosted my enjoyment of following the Wings this year. Keep up the great work. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for commenting. Welcome to the show. He says, enjoying this little streak this team is on, but do you think they'll keep Blashill if the Wings end up competing for a playoff spot, but don't make it come spring?
Oh, God. I don't even want to think
That's
about it.
literally the worst case scenario.
That is the worst case scenario.
I can't.
I don't want us to tank, but we need more talent to become a contender again, for sure. I don't think Blashill's the right coach for these guys, and I personally think they should go elsewhere. Cough, Quenneville. Cough, cough. But do you think management would reward him for overachieving if the Wings finish close to a playoff spot? Would they? Yes. Yeah. Should they? No.
If they extend Blashill, everything nice I've said about Holland over the last 6 months is gone.
I'm telling you, Brad.
He is on pace. God. He is on pace for his one whoopsie.
Yeah, he really is overdue for his whoopsie. Whoopty scoopty poop. Jake Nagy 19 says, Michael Rasmussen, the Crease Beast. Please make this a thing.
The Crease Beast? I don't know. I like Rasmus.
I like Moose.
Moose, yeah. The Moose is loose.
Reason as Virtue says, I'm starting to think Zadina will only see 9 games this year, and that's perfectly fine. If expansion draft was for the 2021 season and Zadina plays 10 games in the NHL this season, he would have 2 professional years by that draft. This means he'd have to be protected.
Okay, I'm gonna clarify this again because I mentioned it earlier, but everybody's getting this wrong. He's playing professional hockey on his entry-level contract this year. The 9-game mark has already been burned. That has nothing to do with anything with Zadina this year. He's only got 2 years left on his DLC. This counts towards the expansion draft, although I think the expansion draft is after next season, so it doesn't matter. Unless they delay Seattle a year, then it will matter. It's that 40-game mark as to whether or not it counts towards a year towards his unrestricted free agency, and that is AHL, NHL relevant. So if he stays in the AHL past the Red Wings' 41st game, then call him up, it's fine. But if he plays 41 or 42 games or whatever it is for Detroit this year, he goes to unrestricted free agency a year earlier. That is the only relevant number with Zadina now this year.
I appreciate you clarifying that, Brett. I had time to load up more questions. Dave Athor says, started listening about a month ago. # did the thing on Spotify. Loving the content so far. Thank you, Dave. Question. Now that we're the hottest team in the league at 8-2 in the last 10, at which point do we go all in for the playoffs and start making some trades?
We don't.
He was being sarcastic. Our friend OSBP says, had to snap back to reality this week after sitting on the beach every day. Post-vacation hangovers are even worse than a regular Ryan hangover. That's very real, and that says a lot. This whole winning thing is bumming me out. I spent the entire past freaking year preparing myself for this team to chortle balls for the imminent future, so I don't know what to do with myself when the Wings win. I found some great joy this year in calling Ryan my literal mortal enemy and top murder target out on Twitter when he says stupid shit. I figure I can steal some of his followers to my dead-ass self-Twitter account that is only used to dump on Ryan's face. I'm flattered? So why do people in Thunder Bay call cottages camp? Doesn't that make them sound like total idiots? I'm taking Canadian Culture 202 at the community college nearby to connect with you doofy, which is the plural of doofus. Ferk shit up, eh, boys?
This is the first I've ever heard about that.
I didn't know that was a thing either.
That shouldn't be a thing.
No, it's a cottage.
If you have a car or a building near you, you're not camping.
That is true.
Well, if you have a car, you just have to qualify by calling it car camping.
Yeah, just be true to what you're doing.
Sirius789 says, how do we keep winning? That is all. Scoring, what's the Red Wings' key to success?
Pass, shoot, score.
Ando772 says, might be controversial for some, but was Mike Green, in your honest opinion, just a waste of a contract and a roster spot? Yes. That's Ryan doing that.
I mean, I don't hate him. He's been alright this year. Mike Green is what he is. He's an offensive wizard and a defensive tire fire, and it seems to be even more prominent on both ends of the spectrum since he's come back this season. Yes. I mean, like, I watch Mike Green and I go, he is awful, and then I realize he's got like 8 points in 11 games, and I'm like, right, he does that thing. So, I mean, it's not the end of the world to me, but would I have signed him? No. Knowing what I know now and how it's been this year, would I have signed him? Probably still no.
And the other part of his comment says, also, do you or do you not own / want one of them ugly Red Wings Christmas sweaters? I've wanted one for years. Mel got me one for my birthday. I'm so excited.
I want one.
I want the one with the octopus, but they're harder to find. We have time for one more question. Evan, number between 1 and 5.
5.
Cardass R says, hey guys, loving the podcast. Excited you're doing 2 a week. Do you think we trade Howard? If not, do you think we resign him? Yeah, well, we've covered it.
4.
I personally think we hang on to him, give him either a 2 or 3 year deal, but love to hear what you guys think. Anyways, keep up the great work.
I already moved on. 4.
Okay, Torque X says, hey guys, props on the Raptors shout out last week, even if it just stemmed out of the discussion of free food. All our conversation comes from free food. Not sure how closely you follow them, but Pascal Siakam is basically the basketball equivalent of Athanasiou. They're both young, explosive, freakishly fast talents who before this year were recognized for their speed and flashiness, but also inconsistency. So it's amazing to see them both really putting it all together for this year at the same time. Anyways, keep up the great work, and I'm loving the Mika per 60 lately. Can't wait till she takes over for Evan. Shout out to Dwayne Casey for beating the Raps in his first game coaching against them.
Oh yeah, that was a buzzer beater where Kyle Lowry forgot to play defense.
And on that note, we do have to wrap it up this week. Thank you guys so much for listening. All of our listeners, all of our Patreon patrons, we love you. Our top level, name level sponsors, Andrew Hassenfratz, Sean Levine, Sky Carcass, Arjun Shankar, Clayton Van Dyken, Langabeer, Derek Shippert, Kalen Wood, Charlie Elkins, Stan Olson, Ryan Lewis, Dan Bell, and Hannah Lee. Thank you.
We're going to be taking a lot of people to a game next December.
Yeah, we are. If you guys want to support the show in other ways, go to Twitter, follow @WingedWheelPod. Go to the bio, follow our individual accounts. We love interacting with you guys on Twitter. Like us on Facebook. Leave us a rating on iTunes. That's amazing. Subscribe on iTunes. # do the thing on Spotify for the Winged Wheel Pod, which is just follow, subscribe, whatever that is. However you get your podcast, thank you for listening. We'll be here again in the middle of the week. Hopefully we have our fingers crossed that that's when the big interview is, but stay tuned.